2 years ago, I returned to a space and actually got on a stage where some serious trauma happened. And I want to share that experience and give you the opportunity to explore how you be in various communications. Because if you've ever experienced any form of big T traumas, and that means where you were violated in some way, whether it's emotional, physical, sexual, etc., that can certainly impact how you show up in the world and how you communicate. I'm Tina B, and I'm an intuitive communication coach. And I really guide my leaders from disconnection to full embodiment, to be fully expressed, to communicate with confidence and clarity. And so I want to take you back to almost exactly 2 years ago. I had accepted a TEDx talk opportunity where I would share storytelling and the power of story. And I was excited to do it. This is something I teach all the time, whether it's the 5 beats of story, how it can boost your business, that it's important to have a clear framework of core questions where you look at the people, the point of view, the purpose for what you want the story to do for you, as well as the structure and style. And so I thought, well, this is a great way to establish credibility. It was actually a lot more in alignment with my life's work, because my previous actual TED talk was about ag arts, and that had been dated, and it's a project I'm not doing anymore. So I accept this project. And I find myself the week before, all of a sudden, my body is responding in a very weird way. I start to get these flashbacks of 2 times where 2 different men at this particular university had completely broken my boundaries without my permission and harmed my psyche and my safety in a very profound way. And so, how did my body react? I actually experienced half of it, the right side was turning red, and my eyes started to pus, as well as, jaw getting very clenched. And my throat was getting very, very tough to speak. It was clogged and froggy. And even my yoni experienced some discharge. So all of this was happening on the Monday before I was to present on that Saturday. And I was starting to panic because I thought, how can I show up on stage with eye pus coming out? I mean, I was a mess. And I found a friend of mine who's a healthcare professional absolutely said, you cannot do this alone. I insist on driving the 3 hours one way to support you and come the day before and walk with you on that campus so that you can experience the space and be with you when you do the dress rehearsal and then see you presented on the main stage. And reluctantly, this was a hard decision for me to actually accept the help, because I don't know about you, when someone is giving this awesome, and it seemed to me unreasonable, opportunity to come and be with me and drive a round trip 6 hours, I thought, oh my gosh, that's a big ask for a 15-minute talk. And I said yes. I thought, you know what? She's probably right. Having someone there to support me, a friend, motherly figure, would be great. So we walked the campus, and she even noted I was constantly looking over my shoulders in this kind of this flight mode, where I could feel that 30 years ago, my freshman year of college, when I had 2 different inappropriate assaults, and at 2 different times. And that night, I couldn't even get through. I was on the red dot. I was clunking through my talk. It was all over the place. And I'd memorized, I'd practiced, I'd done all the things. So I was, as you can imagine, going to bed that night extraordinarily nervous. I wake up the next morning, it's ping 4 a.m. and the actual event is starting, I believe, like I had to be there by 9 a.m. So I had this chunk of time for my morning routine, which I really had to focus in on. How do I set this intention to be powerful and put my attention into caring for my body? Because I was still having issues with my eyes, my flushed face, and just feeling this nervousness of, oh my gosh, I can't do this. And so I made all the decision, as I'd worked with an intuitive healer as well as with therapy. What are those inner pieces that I can do to ground myself? Because ultimately, your body keeps the score. That's an actual book. I don't know if you've ever heard it. And it is definitely when you experience a very hard situation, our bodies take care of ourselves. And I disconnected and I've disassociated. So I was able to get through the experience. And then that has impacted how I see myself when I'm given opportunities to get on stages. I've had to do a lot of inner work to really feel into it and have all eyes on me. And so it's being in that awareness space of what is it that causes you to dysregulate, to get your nervous system in that fear mode, right? So I decided, first of all, I needed to move my body. So it was happened to be a beautiful day, which is highly unusual sometimes in the Midwest in March, happened to be. And I just power walked. I was like, shoo, 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 shoo. The movement helps. It's kind of purging when you have nervousness or anger or any form of that kind of dysregulation. It's helping your brain kind of do some clearing as well as getting the shake, even shaking and dancing. I did some of that as well, gets it out. And then I also decided to listen to some empowered speakers like Brene Brown, her TED Talk on vulnerability, as well as Amy Cuddy's on nonverbal communication. Both women were extraordinary in terms of showing up as themselves and reminding me, especially Amy Cuddy when she got emotional in the moment and said, I don't know if I'm supposed to be here. That hit me. That struck my heart. I had heard that talk multiple times, but it hit me especially hard on that day because of the circumstances. And I found the need to believe it and feel into it as well. And so I walked, I listened to those talks, took it in, felt it. I did some meditation, I did some stretching and yoga. And then I got in front of the mirror. I don't know if you've heard of Louise Hay. She's been known for any form of physiological reactions in your body does have some form of emotional connection, and the eyes are seeing and feeling joy and love. And so it was, I see joy, I see love in this moment and in myself. And I said and felt into those affirmations. I also stood with my proclamation that I'm a passionate, powerful, creative, intuitive leader with my hand on my chest and my other hand on my sacral chakra, which is that lower belly, and then did a Kegel exercise to, get that power in to ground into my being and into my inner strength. And all of that, plus I had a nice, lovely conversation with a gal that I stayed at her place. And that helped get some of the nerves out. She was a speaker as well. And then I got to the space and immediately my body started to react again. It was like I'm on campus, I'm in it. It was almost like a war zone. Well, I was fortunately one of the first speakers, which was really beneficial, to not have to sit through everybody. And I just remember walking onto that red dot and I didn't know what I said. I'm grateful, grateful. This is when memorizing a talk can really be beneficial. And they encourage that for the TED experience because they want it confined to a certain amount of time. It's usually under the 17-minute mark. It's gotten shorter and shorter, much more in the 12-minute mark. And I got through it. But I remember as I was going through all the cadence of the talk, and I could see the audience and owning into my story and my storytelling. I remember when the applause happened, and I'm seeing all these signs like I am a storyteller. And my friend held a sign that Tina B, is here giving this TED Talk. And I was so proud in that moment. That she was there, that she saw me and was witnessing this. But I just remember standing on that dot and I didn't move. And it took the organizer to, get me off the stage. And that was a moment where if you see the talk, which it's about storytelling, it really, really was my trauma took over. And I just went on autopilot. And I'm grateful that I knew the talk. Obviously, the start of it, and there were parts and pieces that changed a little bit, I think partially because I was just like, let's just get through this. And then when I sat in that audience, my right side flares up and then I start to judge myself. This is the worst. Like I was like, I did the worst possible job. And it was really great when my friend gave me really honest feedback and said, that was wonderful. I'm so proud of you. And I had other people see it later and say the same thing. And I still have yet to see it from beginning to end. I think it's just because that moment was so tough and hard. So the core question, and I even saw this in Facebook, where women in a small group are asking, well, what do you do to calm your nerves prior to public speaking? That's the key. Like it's considered one of the biggest top frightening moments, scares. And even Jerry Seinfeld has been known to say that more times than not, people would rather give the eulogy at a funeral, or excuse me, they would rather be in the coffin than give the eulogy at the funeral, which it's like we'd rather be dead than give the speech. And I found all those things really helped me ground. And that's what it's asking yourself is in this moment, what actually acknowledge what you're feeling. And so it's like, okay, I'm in this moment. My feet are here. I'm in this space, like acknowledge the space and you're feeling fear. If you can label it quickly, own it, and then with loving compassion, say, okay, I'm feeling this. Let it move from the driver's seat over to the passenger seat. And then ask, okay, how can I soften this fear and get it from the driver to the passenger? What is it my body needs right now? What is it my mind and my body need to connect me to the heart so that when I communicate, it's clear, it's coherent, and it's very confident and it shows my competence because you've done the preparation. However, when you get into that fear mode, sometimes all that goes out the door. That happened just a week or so ago when I was doing a freestyle rap that I memorized, and boom, I felt the fear of everybody, and I had drew a blank on the chorus. And it was a great learned opportunity where with freestyle, I'm just meant to feel and embody it, get the word and do it. So that's the first piece is acknowledge what it is, label it, feel into it with loving compassion. That's like Pema Chodron talks about is don't judge yourself for that feeling. Fear is not a bad feeling. It's an energy, it's emotion that has energy and it will pass. It doesn't stick in there forever. It can be long and longer than you like, but it does eventually dissipate and you want to dissipate it. So if you're in the speaking space, maybe you see speakers sometimes pacing back and forth. Movement is great, shaking it out, doing some stretches, definitely your breath. Oh, get back to your breath. We hold it, we clench it. It's really powerful if you breathe in through one nostril and out through the other, or completely in through the nose and out through the mouth, because in through the nose, out through the nose is the brain clearing. And if you want your body to feel less nervous, it's in through the nose, out through the mouth. And so all of that matters, along with, warming up your voice and your body and envisioning your success, like watch a video, listen to music. There's all these different ways in which that you can take care of yourself. Because the key is how do you ground and what does your body specifically need in this very moment? And you have creative constraints, right? If you're backstage, you can't play a video of music. That's just not going to work out. You can, however, move your shoulders, take a breath, ground yourself by closing your eyes and really, really focus and Kegel, do a Kegel glute squeeze and own into a proclamation, like own into your personhood, your essence of yourself. And for me, it's I'm a passionate, powerful, intuitive leader. So as you lean into a very difficult speech, and TED Talks are high stakes, high rewards. They really are about establishing credibility in your field, generally speaking. And so if you can really acknowledge what you're feeling, then take care of yourself and get curious in that awe space, and then align your body and your mind and heart all together through movement, through breath, then you will find that the message will be magnetic. And that's what it's all about, right? Is getting back to your inner magnetism. And honestly, the audience has your back. They want you to do well. We're hardest on ourselves. So know this, that was the hardest speaking experience of my entire life. It was, and it probably will be because of going back into the war zone, if you will, of where a couple things happened that were really hard for me 30 years ago as a young adult, and having my body get back through it. But what's great is it was also an amazing learned opportunity that I did it. I didn't give up on myself. I showed up for myself. I had the courage to speak up and out and share my story and be with it. And so I think this is a story that I help with my clients and say, if I can do that, which is hard, heavy, and true, you can show up in that boardroom and lead a meeting. You can ask for a raise. You can give that really hard, crucial conversation that maybe may initiate some conflict. You can present on bigger stages and spaces and places because you have something important to say. And if this rings true to you, I would love to extend an invitation to have you join me. Not only subscribe for Fully Expressed with Tina B, because I'll give more tips, tools of how to communicate with a grounded nervous system, out of the fear, out of the grief, out of the overwhelm and the anger. And I have a newsletter, and it's got a beautiful 3-part freebie, which in that way, if you sign up for tips each week, you will get a meditation, movement piece, as well as PDF journal. And I would love to have you subscribe to that. It's tinab.com. That's TINA, B as in boy, E as in Edward.com. So with that, I want to stress that you have beautiful things to say, and remember to be you and be true, because that's magnetic, and that's your superpower.